בוקר טוב, עולם שטוח 12. טוב, והיום אנחנו נמשיך עם הסדרה שלנו, בסטלבט על, איך אומרים, פרופסור דייב, והאתגרים שהוא נותן לנו, לאנשי עולם השטוח, שהרי כמובן אנחנו כל כך טיפשים וחסרי בינה, שאנחנו, איך אומרים, לא יכולים להבין קונספטים פשוטים ביותר. אז היום אנחנו נלך על הצ'אלנג' 3 של הדיביל הזה, כן? וכמובן, נכסח שוב, איך אומרים, לנקה שוב את השולחן לטמטום ההליוצנטרי, חסר ההיגיון, יש לציין היום, איך אומרים, ההידרדרות שלכם, הפושעים קטנטנים, איך אומרים, היא כל כך קשה, שאתם, תכף אנחנו נראה בסרטון, אתם לא יודעים מאיפה זה בא, כולם מתעוררים, כן? אתם כל כך שקרנים, שאיך אומרים, חשבתם שהיפנוזה תספיק. מסתבר שלא, אז בואו נלמד קצת.
This time I'd like to offer some challenges to you remaining few that are desperately clinging to this dying fad.
Okay, did you hear what he just said?
To you remaining few that are desperately clinging to this dying fad.
To us remaining few who are desperately clinging on to this dying fad of flat earth. I just want to debunk that comment real quick before we move on.
The round or spherical earth theory is propagated by some conspiracy.
And the number of people who think so is growing. Thousands, if not millions of people believe the world is flat.
And it's the subject of tonight's special report. WCIA3's Aaron Eads is here with us now. And Aaron, as far as conspiracy theories go, flat earth theory is actually getting pretty popular.
Yeah, believe it or not, the number of people who believe the earth is flat is actually growing. Scientists might have an idea of why that is, and it's worth talking about. And what better place to do so than one of the flattest places in the country, right here in central Illinois. But there are ideas that this is a sham. NASA, a fraudulent organization bent on siphoning your tax dollars. The moon landing didn't happen.
Those iconic blue marble images seen from space, fakes.
You start seeing words like composite or animation or something that tells you this is not an actual photograph of the earth.
The biggest concern with the flat earth movement is how fast it's gaining steam. Scientists are worried that flat earth could become a political issue like climate change, vaccination, or evolution. Guys.
All right, fascinating stuff. All right, Aaron, thank you.
Very interesting.
Imagine that. I didn't even have to do anything. The mainstream media debunked that comment. I just had to clear that up real quick. Let's move on.
To derive some semblance of self-worth, let's call them 10 challenges for flat earthers. Number 3, here's an idea. What if you were to actually make a prediction with your model? Like any prediction. You know, those things that you have to do in science for it to be science? Pick any celestial object, a planet, a comet, a star. Now pick any time in the future, and using only the flat earth model and nothing else, tell me where it will be at that time. If you can't do this, and I know you can't, consider admitting that your model is absolutely irrelevant. People who actually understand the geometry of the Earth and the solar system can predict a solar eclipse, specifying the start and end time down to the second and tracing its precise path down to the square mile. Doing that even a single time means the model used to make the prediction has been undeniably verified, and it's done every single time. Anyone who doesn't see the importance of that has no clue how science works.
Okay, now this would be Professor Dumb Dave's dumbest challenge, just because of the simple fact I don't think Dumb Dave understands that we who live here on the real flat earth see the same sky, the same stars, the same sun and moon that he sees on his fake pretend spinning ball. So therefore, we would make those predictions the same way that you who live on your fake spinning ball would. For example, the Mayans, who were flat earthers, made eclipse predictions for 5,000 years before they even come up with the spinning globe bullcrap. Now, with today's technology, all you need to do is calculate the precise motions of the sun and moon, and all you need to do that with is a computer and the proper software. And now that's the easiest way, but if you want to predict eclipses on a flat earth the way the Mayans did, in order to do that, you have to understand that the sun must be crossing a node, and the moon must be crossing either the same node, which is a solar eclipse, or the other node, which is a lunar eclipse. And that means, of course, the solar eclipse can only occur when the moon is new, and the lunar eclipse can only occur when the moon is full. And this can only occur during the period of an eclipse season, which the sun is close to a node in the moon's orbit. Now, for solar eclipses, the eclipse season is usually about 32 days long, and any new moon in this period will produce a solar eclipse. But now for the lunar eclipse, the eclipse season is shorter, around 22 days, and any full moon in that period will be eclipsed. All you really have to know is when there's going to be a full moon and a new moon. That's the only time that these eclipses can take place. And that simply comes with studying the sky every day and night for about a year and writing everything down. Then come that next year, you'll know exactly when every eclipse is going to take place, the same way the Mayans did it 5,000 years ago on the flat earth that they lived on. It's really, really simple. And if you don't understand how to read the sun and the moon and the stars in the sky, all you got to do is probably go to Google and look here. How did the Mayans predict solar eclipses? The Mayans were a very advanced society, and they were able to predict solar eclipses by studying ancient texts and observing the sun. They also used calendars to predict events. Just like I told you, you write down a calendar for a whole year, you study that calendar, you study the movements of the sun and the moon, and you will be able to predict these eclipses the same way they did. For example, right here, according to ancient texts, the Mayans predicted solar eclipses thousands of years in advance. The Mayan believed that these events were a sign from the gods and were used for religious ceremonies. By studying the Mayan predictions, it is possible to better understand how they viewed the universe. Solar eclipses are still a source of mystery for many people today, but the Mayan knowledge provides an interesting perspective. By understanding this ancient culture, we can gain a greater appreciation for science and astronomy as well. The Mayans were able to predict solar eclipses by studying the movements of the sun and moon. By following these patterns, they were able to make accurate predictions about when an eclipse would occur. The Mayans' calendar is a complex system of predicting astronomical events like solar eclipses. To calculate the date and time of an eclipse, the Mayans used a day cycle with day intervals. The Mayans were some of the first people to predict solar eclipses, and their methods were quite advanced for their time. The Mayans used a variety of astronomical observations to predict solar eclipses. So as you can see, for thousands of years, the Mayans predicted eclipses in the same way that I just told you how to predict eclipses on the flat earth in modern times. And don't get me wrong, it's not that easy. You have to write everything down on a calendar, and you have to keep track of the sun and moon daily. But once you do learn how to do that, it's really, really simple. That's why this is Dumb Dave's Dumbest Challenge, because like I said, whether you live on the real flat earth or the fake spinning ball, no matter which viewpoint, we all still see the same sky, the same stars, the same sun and moon, making those predictions accurate. And now, with that being said, we have debunked Professor Dumb Dave's number 3
טוב,
challenge.
ולסיכום, אנחנו נעשה את זה קצר למי שלא קלט, או למי שבטעות העברית של גוגל לא מספיק, זה מאוד פשוט. אנחנו רואים את אותם שמיים, גם אלה שחושבים שהעולם קדר, וגם אנשים שיודעים שהעולם שטוח ולא בתנועה, כן? עכשיו, צריך להבין את הדבר הקונספטואלי הזה. אי אפשר לקחת, כן? את מה שקורה בשמיים, שאנחנו יודעים שחוזר על עצמו, כן? לטעון שזה כדור, כן? וכשאנחנו אנשי עולם שטוח רואים את אותו דבר, אז הם לא מבינים את מה שהם רואים. אתם הבנתם עד כמה השטיפת מוח, ההיפנוזה, אני אחזור ואומר, של הנאסא, המדענים וכל הבולשיט ההליוצנטרי, עד איזה דרגות הם מסוגלים להגיע? אז אני מודיע לכם, הם גם הגיעו, ויש להם את הטיפשים השימושיים של כמו פרופסור דייב. אז איך אומרים? אכלנו אתכם לארוחת בוקר חמודים, וכדאי להתחיל לחקור למי שלא יודע, איך אומרים, את תכונותיו של המים, כן? כדי להבין ש-sea level זה sea level. כך שעולם כדור או לא כדור, זה ברור שזה לא כדור, כי אין לו כימור. כן, זה כזה פשוט, חבר'ה. כן. אמרו לכם בטלוויזיה,